There are no dark-skinned black girls in the Boondocks. Why is that? I don't know if you've noticed. Monoracial black girls, none. Not in the comics, not in the show. There are black women in the show, right? There's Luna, there's Emily Brown, there's Cookie Freeman, there's Lady Esmeralda Gripenassi. There is a lot of black woman representation in the show. The show is about the black male experience, more specifically the experience of black boys growing up in white suburbs. So what we feel is a lack of the counterpart for black boys, which is what monoracial black girls. Exclusion from the show is not just an accident or a mere oversight. Rather, it's a reflection of a deeper systemic process of erasure that governs predominantly white, upwardly mobile spaces in the United States. See, the notable absence of dark-skinned black girls amongst the protagonist age group points to a more sinister reality about these integrated communities. Woodcrest operates as a microcosm of suburban magnetism, gentrification, and educational tracking, where the outcomes of black youth are heavily skewed by colorism, class, and family origins. While dark-skinned black boys are pushed out of society via the school-to-prison pipeline, or they're allowed to remain as long as they, go through strict assimilation and commodification, dark-skinned black girls are systematically pushed out entirely. They're pushed out of the educational system and the neighborhood itself. If you never reach the educational heights required to get the jobs that could cover a mortgage in a town like Woodcrest, well, then you'll never live there as an adult, right? And the few black people that do make it through the cracks and are able to excel in white society, what do we see from the show? All of their partners are white, right? So consequently, all of their children are biracial, and after 2 generations, they have a white family. The world of the Boondocks shows the sad reality of how integration is a filtration system for black people. White society's larger institutional violence against black people never ended. Data centers and chemical factories are now poisoning our communities, still dealing with unemployment and incarceration, still plaguing the South and the West. We just saw what happened with the Rick Challenge incident. All this stuff is still going on. The violence never ended. In some ways, it actually got worse. Instead, exceptions were made for black people to escape said violence and share in the spoils of white society. The revolutionary masses of black people are subdued by this illusion, this dream, a promise of potentially being selected, potentially belonging in whiteness. So the revolution never takes place and the system survives. At the same time, white society avoids importing too many black people into its spaces to prevent a dilution of the majority white demographic balance. And in such an operation, you cannot have dark-skinned black girls in significant numbers. Why? Because they are the source of dark-skinned black boys and dark-skinned black girls. They are the source of the demographic problem, right? And so the institutional barriers of colorism are put in place. Millions of black people continue to die in the background in Flint, in Baltimore, in Memphis, in Chicago, and all the so-called shitholes that whites never deign to visit.